Good evening, everyone. I don't think the mic is working, but the time is 6:02 p.m., and I hereby call this meeting of the Student Government Senate to order. Hello? Is it on? Okay, great. So we'll begin with a roll call. When I read your name, please say here or present. Martinez. Gopa. Azan. Rolls. Chenoweth. Oh, that was excused. Great. Campstra. Kloppenstein. Hackbarth. Keeler. Atikos. Swank. Mahoney. Trotter. Jones. Cecil. Eisma. Wellman. No Wellman. Momini. Larson. No Larson. Pursley. And Schneider. With that, we do have quorum for the evening. With that, we'll move into the Pledge of Allegiance led by Speaker Hackbarth.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And with that, we'll move into tonight's Senate program. If you'd like to go ahead.
All right. So this is Abby Elder. Is that how you? Perfect. And they are coming from us from the library, and they are here to talk about open and affordable education. So I would like to remind senators to please at least close your laptops to 3/4 so that we can listen and be attentive of this really great resource that they have to share.
Yeah. Okay, so it's been a couple of years since last time I came to student government, literally 2 years. So some of you may have never seen me before. That's exciting. I'm going to talk fairly fast because I have a lot of slides, and I didn't realize until preparing 10 minutes ago how many slides I had for the time I wanted to do this in. So this is going to be fun. So starting off, hi, I'm Abby Elder. I'm the Open Access and Scholarcom librarian at the library, which basically means I manage programs related to making things free for everyone, not just free for you guys. Next slide. So starting off with this, I want to talk about a little bit of background on why this is a discussion with affordable education, but specifically affordable course materials. Next slide. So you may have already noticed this, but state funding for higher education has been going down a little bit in the last 30 years from where it was in the 1990s, with the cost of tuition being more and more taken up by the students and less by the state itself. Because of this, tuition goes up for you, whereas the actual cost of education is staying relatively stagnant in terms of all things taken together. Next slide. At the same time, the actual money that folks are making, especially those of us who are supporting ourselves through college, is not going up that much. So for a lot of our students, you're not making enough money to make up for that additional costs in tuition, fees, and other resources. So how does this affect you? Well, we have a lot more homeless college students than you would expect. There's a lot of students that are going hungry, they're going without meals, they're doing anything they can to keep their costs low so they can continue and just get that degree. Because at the end of the day, that'll lead to something good in the future, we hope. But what can we do about that? And I say we, but I mostly mean me as a librarian, because you can do a little bit more with this. There's a lot of things that we have to deal with: tuition and fees, room and board, books and supplies, personal expenses, transportation. I cannot build a bus from here to Ankeny, but there is one thing I can do: books and supplies. I can help a little bit with that. Thank you. So obviously books are not the biggest issue here. There are a lot of other things that are way bigger of an impact on students' finances. However, it's something we can do something about, and it's something we can do something about right now. Textbook costs, we did a survey last year and said, hey, how do these costs affect you? Our students, what are you dealing with in your day-to-day lives? How are the high costs affecting you specifically? 91% of students said, I wait till after the first day of class to buy my books, just to make sure it's really required. I'm sure most of you have been there. 70% of students said, I just tried to pass without it, see what I could do. 65% say they download illegal copies online. They just said it. That's fine. 34% said they had to purchase textbooks instead of groceries. They just went without for a couple of weeks. And 23% said they dropped a course because their homework was required attached to that textbook and they couldn't afford it. So I can't pass the course, can't buy the textbook, I guess I'll just drop it. So what are the alternatives? Well, there are a few things you can do. As an individual, you can rent the book if it's available. You can share it and split the cost if it's print. You can borrow the book from the library if we can purchase it. But a lot of the time, that's not the case anymore. A lot of the time, it's only that access code. It's only that online version. So instead, your professor can look into ebooks or immediate access, get that cost as low as possible. They can look at older editions, lower cost, flexible formats, or they can assign open educational resources instead. That's my main thing. So open educational resources, a big word, OER is what I typically call it. These are free, openly licensed educational materials. Not just free for you, but free for everyone. So what does it mean to be open? Open materials are free and they come with permissions to edit and adapt the material as well. So your professor's not just saying, hey, here's some free books. They're also saying, oh yeah, I don't teach chapter 2 and 4 in this book. So instead of telling you to read chapter 1, 3, and 5, I'm just gonna cut those out and not make you do the heavy lifting. It's pretty important that OER are open, not just because here's something free, it's adaptable, but also because it can be shared and accessed by anyone in the world. So some of the open textbooks that have been published by folks here at Iowa State have been used in colleges around the world, in Australia, in Africa, in India. They're used by folks in Canada and folks in Iowa, other colleges as well. DMAC loves some of our books. They're also continuously updated and improved by other instructors who want to use them for their own courses, and they can be adapted for different contexts. So here I have an example. Fashion and Apparel Consumer Behavior is Doreen Chung, one of our faculty members, adapting a consumer behavior book to talk about specifically fashion and apparel. How is fast fashion affecting consumer behavior today? And it's not just textbooks either. We don't just call them open textbooks, that would be easy. We have to call them open educational resources and make it complicated. So educational resources are also assignments, quiz questions, lab books, videos. You're thinking about Dr. Butler and all those great videos for calculus courses? Yeah, those might be considered open educational resources as well. And why this? Well, first, it has access to materials anytime, anywhere. You don't have to just say, well, I have to log into Canvas and give my credentials, and then I get free access for as long as I'm at school. No, OER are open to anyone, anywhere with an internet connection. They're free for any of those people, including you, when you're out of here as well. The materials can be adapted to cover only the content you need that your instructor actually teaches. The content is always free, and it can be printed out at cost of printing. You don't have to go through whatever that print cost might be or not have access at all. Some of our instructors have OER they use in class, and they get it printed through university printing for $12, $15 bucks. So you can still have that print book if you prefer that. But this isn't the only option, of course. It's not the end-all be-all. One thing I say when I talk to faculty about OER is print textbooks have been around for a couple hundred years. OER have been around for a couple decades. So they don't cover all the topics yet. We're still making them. We're still building that gap, covering those topics. However, instructors can also assign materials they've created in class. I'm sure you have lots of people sharing lecture notes and saying, this is the best I can give you because I don't want to assign a $300 book. There's free but not open materials. People love Crash Course if you're using it in your high school classes or even today. There's course reserves, those free books in the library, and other more affordable options as well that I mentioned earlier, like immediate access. So how do your professors find OER? We're gonna skip through this part real quickly. They can find it through browsing collections, getting help from a librarian like me, or looking through collections and repositories online. OpenStax is a really popular one. If you've taken astronomy 120 or 150, you use this book, it's free. And you can also use OER, not just when it's assigned to you, but also like, hey, here's some free study materials. People just shared this out, it's free online, and it's legal to access, and you can use it as another way of studying this material as well. So some people have talked to me and said, this concept in calculus or pre-calculus or statistics was a little confusing. I just pulled up 3 other textbooks that are open and free online, and I was able to find the content described in different ways that were maybe easier for me to understand. Now, I mentioned this a second ago, but why don't more faculty use OER? Well, they don't have that much time. They're busy trying to do research. They're busy trying to do teaching all of their other classes. And there's not really that many incentives at a large university like Iowa State to do this work. So we're doing the best we can to try to incentivize and support faculty that do want to do this work. There's a lack of awareness. They don't know what's out there, and there's more being published every day. And there's low availability in some areas, like agriculture and vet med. Still, there's a lot that can be done and a lot that you have done. So what have you guys accomplished already? In 2017, I came out as student government for the first time. I know, it's been a while. And you guys passed an OER resolution saying, we want more faculty to use OER. We support those that are doing it. Good on you. That was a good first step. The next year, in 2018, you put out a proclamation specifically thanking the faculty that were using OER in their classes, saying, you guys are doing awesome. We love that. Here's all your names listed out. We're going to thank you for this work. And me, we've been working on expanding all of the resources we have for faculty across campus. Workshops, outreach, support for those finding and using OER, and publishing new materials through the library. This here, a guide to MATLAB for MU 160, was developed by a student who wanted to make sure other people had free access to materials for this class, because there just weren't enough. So let's get more out there. This fall, there are 33 courses using OER instead of commercial materials, all absolutely free for all students. Psych 101, Astro 120, AMD 165, Math 201, ME 370, and many more, all free forever. You don't have to pay a fee at any point in time. Here's a few of our awesome trailblazers. We talk about them on our website, but I did want to get their names and faces up on the slide. Big shout out to Kelly Reddy Best. She's awesome. And finally, there's the Open and Affordable Education Committee, my committee on campus that talks about all the ways that we can sort of get more affordable course materials in the classroom. We have representatives from student government, not yet, we're working on it, CELT, the University Library, financial aid, and yes, even the bookstore. They're working on this too and thinking about any way they can try to keep those costs down for you guys, because really they make their money off of hoodies and sweatshirts and ISU swag. One thing we've been doing over the last few years is providing grants for faculty to help them make new books, because that little bit of funding helps them buy out the time that they don't have otherwise. Adaptive apparel design is one fun one we did last year about making clothing for people with different sorts of needs. So where can we go from here is the last bit. First, we can speak up. You can talk about how you feel about textbook costs, figure out other ways to connect with student groups on campus, and do more. Educate yourselves and others about the different options available for you and your faculty. There are resources available on opentextbookalliance.org, there you go, if you're interested in OER specifically. You can recognize the instructors that are already doing this work. We've already done a little bit of that, but more kudos is always a good thing, especially for people that continue to do good work and to continue to prioritize students over profits. And finally, you can partner with us. The Open and Affordable Education Committee is always looking for more people to join us, even if you're just getting started with this or don't really know what's going on. We work on things related to both course material costs and other stuff related to affordability, like transparency in courses. What's required? How do we make sure faculty actually assign those materials and make it clear? Financial literacy, marketing and outreach, more stuff like that. That's all? Okay, I got through it. Questions? I said I would go fast, apologies.
And yes, now the floor is open for any questions, starting with Senator Azan.
First of all, Abby, I want to say thank you for sharing the resources. I have a silly question. I don't know if it falls under your, responsibility or not. I love audiobooks. Listening audiobook is my thing. Instead of music, I prefer the books. So currently, I'm using the Libby app, which is pretty cool, associated with Ames Library. But I'm more concerned about ISU Library. Do we have audiobooks available, like free audiobooks for the mobile phone? We can use that.
Yeah, not many right now.
So maybe,
Something to look into.
yeah, something to work on
I do know some
it.
people making open textbooks that make audiobook versions at the same time
Yeah.
in tandem, because they know people prefer to listen over reading. So
Yeah, thank you so much. So that's a suggestion, I guess.
With that, are there any further questions? Vice Speaker Kamstra.
Yeah, I just want to echo how much I appreciate you coming in. I personally struggled with textbooks because as a freshman, I was like, I don't need this immediate access stuff. I'm just going to opt out all of them. And then I couldn't do my homework. So that was an interesting issue that I had to deal with and learn about when I first came to Iowa State. But I guess my question's more surrounding kind of at a national level. I mean, it's great at Iowa State, but I was wondering if there's any like national resources that are also contributing to this coalition here at Iowa State.
Yeah. So on the state level, I am the statewide open education coordinator for Iowa under the Board of Regents, which is generally we collaborate with community colleges and private colleges across the state to talk about what they're using and creating to adopt and create more open educational resources, helping folks at DMAC figure out what we're using here and leverage them in their courses, talking to folks at even Grandview and Drake and making sure that they're leveraging the things we have as well. So that's one thing. On the US level, there is an annual open textbook grant, millions of dollars put forward to make more resources available, again, helping fill that gap between the 200 years of textbooks that are published traditionally and the 20 years of OER. And in that case, we've had a good 10 nursing textbooks developed, more workforce development materials coming out, generally looking at filling the major gaps in where we need more content being developed. Because when this first started out, it was just, what are the gen eds? Intro psych, intro physics, intro math. We want to get more things covered for higher level classes and more niche needs. On the international level, UNESCO has a recommendation for OER to support their sustainable development goals, in general, increasing access to education. So it's sort of everywhere. Yeah.
And I forgot my second question, but yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, is there much pushback from professors here at Iowa State for using OER?
Not too much pushback. I have encountered confusion before.
Okay.
I had one professor that said, students are having trouble affording things. Don't they know when they come here what stuff costs? Aren't they ready for that? I just assumed they'd be fine. And I was confused for this. You don't know that they're having trouble affording things? But yes, some people are a little bit out of touch. The most pushback we've had are from people that worry about the actual freedom to choose what they want to choose. And in that case, I say, we're not saying just use this. We're saying, here's an option. Explore what's available. Maybe think about creating something new. But we're not going to tell you what to use. That would be not so good.
Awesome. Sweet. Thank you. I yield.
And with that, are there any other questions? Senator Mahoney.
I was just wondering if there was any way, or like from your side, if there's any way we could talk to like faculty senate, to have faculty senate perhaps talk about OER a little bit more and hopefully be like, hey, a recommendation essentially from student government and GPSS and faculty senate and these major governing organizations to kind of continue to get the word out and that they exist and we should be using them more.
Yeah, there are a couple of opportunities for that. The first would be something like what you just said, a joint resolution, building on that 2017 resolution you did before, but having a little bit more verve to it. Another thing to consider that some institutions have done is had a provision in promotion and tenure guidelines to say that if you're creating or adapting OER, that counts as a form of scholarship, because that's a big concern for faculty is, why should I go about doing this work if it's not going to advance my career? Why should I adapt or create or use these materials in my classroom if it's not going to be something that I'm appreciated for? So looking at that could be an extra bonus.
Well, the nice thing is I know the trademark guidelines are changing soon for all those textbook stuff, so that might help too, hopefully.
Floor is open for any other questions or comments. Seeing none, thank you very much for coming out this evening.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move into open forum. Open forum shall serve as an opportunity for students to speak about issues relevant to the student body. If there's anyone here tonight for open forum, I would ask that you approach the podium at this time. Seeing no one, we'll move into adopting this evening's agenda. Are there any amendments before we do so?
Yes, Mr. Vice President. The first amendment will be to postpone 2023-2-052SG, seating at-larges to Student Initiatives Committee to next week. And then the next motion would be motion to add 2023-2-056 and 57? Or 55? 5.5 through 5.7, seating a senator to IDEA Committee, seating a senator to Sustainability Committee, and seating at-larges to Sustainability Committee.
All right, with that, it's been simultaneously moved to postpone item 2023-2-052 SG, and at the same time, add to the agenda items 2023-2-055 through 57. Is there a second on that? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to these amendments? Seeing none, the agenda shall be amended. With that, is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to adopting this evening's agenda? Seeing no objection, it shall be adopted. We'll now move on to approving the minutes from the previous Senate. Is there a motion to do so? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to adopting these minutes? Seeing no objection, they shall be adopted. And so with that, we'll move into this evening's committee report, starting with Speaker Hackbarth for the Rules Committee.
Hello, everyone. So rules met at our usual time and place on Monday at 6:15 in room 2210. We had a great discussion about our Constitution and our bylaws. We went through chapters 1 and 2 of the operating rules of the legislative branch. We saw 2 resolutions, one of which is up for second read tonight after having gone through the IDEA Committee and Rules Committee. And the second one is on first read tonight, and we'll be going through student initiatives. It either went through this week or it will be going through this coming week. Haven't heard back from the director on that. So we'll be looking at that. Rules has been really cranking through our bylaw project. Really excited with the progress that we've made. And we are hoping that within the next couple weeks, we will actually get a bylaw bill in front of you. But that is all I have.
And with that, are there any questions for Rules? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Finance Committee with FD Hirsch.
Hi, everyone. Finance Committee met yesterday. We meet at 5:15 at room 2210. We had a really good conversation. We approved a line item transfer for women's soccer. We saw the bill that you're going to see tonight about funding Big 12 trip. And then also we are seating Senator Martinez to Finance Committee. Very excited about all of that.
Are there any questions for Finance? Seeing none, we'll move on to the PR Committee with our Senior Director of Communications, question mark? Yes. Perfect timing.
Okay, sorry about that. So PR, we are working on designing some graphics for each of the committees right now for the Student Government Expo. So committee heads, if you can keep an eye out for some emails so we can get input for signage. I sent out a form today about a Thanksgiving potluck event. If everyone can fill that out, whether you would or wouldn't be going, just so we can gauge interest, that would be great. And then make sure that you've read the outreach credit paper that we sent out last week as well. And there should be a mass email going out next Tuesday at noon.
All right, and with that, are there any questions for PR? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the IDEA Committee. Is there a designated representative for IDEA tonight? Seeing no designated representative, I will ask the same question about SI. It's been moved to add Senator Larson to the roll. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, they shall be set. Moving on to Senator roles with the SI Committee.
Hello, everybody. Student Initiatives met last Thursday in Jordan, and we talked about our goals. Went really well. Our big news, we're currently planning the pumpkin smashing event. So we're going to be working on that next week and kind of figure out some roles, but other than that, everything's going well.
Floor is open for any questions for SI. Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Local Affairs Committee with our ex officio.
Hello, everyone. So, me and Local Affairs met last week and discussed the idea of creating a local affairs calendar. This would consist of various meetings that the City of Ames does, as well as like local events that go on, as well as various student government meetings and various like committee meetings. And we were thinking of making it sort of an online calendar, real easy to scan, real easy to access, so that a lot of incoming students and freshmen could easily have access to where, when, and how they can get involved in the community. And then we also continued our work on the Ames Safe Word project, and we should have a bill coming soon in regards to printing posters and such for that. And then finally, next Wednesday will be the joint city council meeting where the city council is going to come in at 5 p.m. I believe we're meeting in the Campanile room. The sunroom? Okay. We're meeting in the sunroom. And right after I'm done speaking here, I'm going to send out a form where if you want anything in particular brought up to the city hall during that meeting, you can just fill out that form and put in details there. So that's pretty much it.
The floor is open for any questions for the Local Affairs Committee, starting with Senator Gopa.
Yeah, last week Senator Janes talked about side-eyed increasing their prices. Is there any has it been changed yet, or?
No, we're meeting tomorrow to discuss that further. So.
Okay.
Floor is open for any further questions. Seeing none, we'll move on to the Sustainability Committee.
I think, okay, this is still on. Awesome. So we just met. We meet weekly at 5 p.m. on Wednesdays, so that's why I always say we just met. The things that are happening tonight are we are seating a senator, Senator Azan, and then we will be seating one at large, and that looks fun. And as far as updates on the committee, we have branched into subcommittees. There are multiple, so I'm not going to list all of them because that would take a while, and I still haven't fully memorized all of them yet. But the one that I am most excited about at the moment, because the most traction is going on with that, is we are looking to replace the bike maintenance stations on campus. There's one over there at the entrance of the MU, kind of by the M Shop area, and then there's one by heaping Play-Doh in the hub. And so we are looking to replace those because those are pretty old, and the parts, they are not able to be fixed because the parts are not made anymore. So that is one thing that I'm focusing on right now, and that is all I have to say.
Are there any questions for sustainability? Seeing no questions, I would entertain a motion to add Senator Everhart to the roll. So moved. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing none, they shall be set. And we'll move on to the Health and Wellness Committee. Is there a designated representative for Health and Wellness this evening? Senator Kuehler.
All right, so Health and Wellness, we had our first meeting of the semester, which was very exciting. So we just met, discussed what the committee is, what we did last year, as well as some of the other university committees that Director Spahn and I sit on for Health and Wellness, and how we can kind of work with Student Government's Health and Wellness Committee on that. And we also did some brainstorming for some of the goals and ideas that we want to focus on as a committee this year. And I was also confirmed as vice chair, so that's what we did.
Are there any questions for Health and Wellness? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to legislative ambassadors. Same applies if there's any designated representative for legislative ambassadors tonight. Seeing no representative, we will move into the other category. This is an opportunity for anyone sitting on a university or city committee to share any updates they may have that don't fall into the pre-existing categories. Senator Rolls.
A little more about the design committee. Not everybody could meet because we had conflicting schedules, but some of the people met on Sunday around 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. We were kind of figuring out the roles for everybody to sit. So that went pretty well. I think we got sorry, I can't find it right now. But yeah, we got at least 4 people got their roles last Sunday, and we plan on meeting next weekend, I believe, this weekend, to kind of start getting in more conversation and trying to figure out what design council is going to be doing.
Vice Speaker Kamstra.
Yeah, so I serve on the Health and Wellness Student Leadership Board on their media team. So we're reviewing a lot of the media and websites for anything that falls under will fall under health and wellness. One of that includes rec services, counseling services, teal and health services, and one other one I'm forgetting. But essentially, what they asked of me is to review their social medias, their Instagram, their Facebook, and their websites. And fill out a survey. If any of you would like to fill out that survey to help us in this endeavor, that would also be awesome. If you use Instagram or if you use Facebook regularly, that'd be awesome. But just come find me after the meeting if you'd like to help out with that, or shoot me a message on Teams and I'll send it your way. Thank you.
Floor is open for any questions or for any further committee updates. Seeing none, we'll move into comments from the judicial branch.
Hello, everyone. So the court met on Sunday. We meet usually around 2 p.m. on Sundays. It's about the only time we can meet right now. We have an initiative from Quinn and Jennifer that we're going to work on to provide students and all of you access to different resources that the court can provide. And then further, we might have picked out a case. So if anybody would like to be people that have participated in the case in the past, we're going to do a mock trial, and hopefully it won't be that bad, but it'll be fun at least. So if you'd like to do that, then contact me, or I'll send out a form, and you can like pick the loser, whatnot. So yeah, thank you.
Questions for the court? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to comments from our advisor.
Good evening, everyone. Just a note that I normally give at the end, I'll give now. If you are new to the organization this evening, if you could see me after the meeting so I can get you on various student government platforms, please do that.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, we'll finally hear comments from the executive branch with President Holliday. Oh. That would be a no. All right. With that, we'll move into the business of this evening, starting with external matters, specifically item 2023-2-049J, recognizing October 9th as Indigenous Peoples Day with Senator Gopa.
So I just want the Iowa State student government to recognize October 9th as Indigenous Peoples Day, and we will also make a recommendation to the university to also recognize that day as Indigenous Peoples Day. Iowa State is, of course, a land-grant institution, and we wish to recognize our obligations to this land and to the people who took care of it, as well to the 17,000 Native people who live in Iowa today. I will take any questions.
Floor is open for any questions or discussion. It's been moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing none, closing comments, Senator Gopa.
Yeah, thanks for supporting the bill. That was quick. Okay. I will also be working with the lectures committee. If any of you are on the lectures committee, let me know, because we can bring in a speaker for next year around this time. And if you guys have any other ideas of any events we could do on that day, or we could work with PR to do this social media campaign. But yeah, we can do a lot for this day, and I really appreciate the support you guys have given on this bill, on this resolution.
All right, and so if that, we'll move into a vote on this item. UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, the motion carries. With that, we'll move into special orders, starting with item 2023-2-05. Is that a... Yeah, hold on a moment.
There we go. I'm going to take those friendly.
Yes. Item 2023-2-051SC with Speaker Heckbarth.
All right, so we are going to be seeing a nominee for the Director of Affordability. I've had a really great email conversation with Mitch. In fact, he wanted to meet me in person to talk about why he was excited to take on this role. So I am very much looking forward to him telling all of us about what goals he has and why he thinks he's going to be a good fit. So go ahead, take it away.
Perfect. Well, as she said, my name is Mitchell Hagan. call me Mitch. So I'm a freshman, I'm a finance major, so I was kind of looking for something in the finance realm. I have friends from all different sorts of economic backgrounds, and I was looking for a position on student government, saw Director of Affordability, and thought it would be a great fit, read more into it. And it seems really cool in what they can do. I want to be on it because, like I said, I do have friends from all different sorts of backgrounds. Excuse me. And I think college can be really intimidating, especially from someone with a lower economic status coming in and looking at the price of college. And then with all the fees and everything included in that. And I think we can do a better job making it seem less intimidating and more affordable with projects. I know we just did the cash course. I think that was a great idea. And then we also, with my discussion with President Holliday and Speaker Margaret, we talked about different programs such as like Pay It Forward or Work It Off, which is like if you get something small like a parking ticket and you don't have the funds to pay it, you could do like X number of community service hours. Just little things like that to make it seem more affordable and less stressful to those coming into the university. So, thank you.
With that, the floor is open for any discussion or questions. It's been moved to end debate at this time. Is there any objection to doing so? Thank you. Seeing no objection, closing comments, Speaker Heckbarth? Seeing no closing comments, we'll move into a vote on this item. UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, congratulations, the motion carries. And so with that, we'll move into item 2023-2-053 SD, seating Senator Martinez to Finance Committee with Speaker Heckbarth.
All right, as Evan approaches the podium, I just want to say from day one, when we first had a conversation with Senator Martinez, he talked about how excited he was and how passionate he was about finance. That has been his end goal. He has really wanted to make an impact here at student government by helping out on our finance committee. And I personally could not think of a better fit for the role of a senator on finance committee than Senator Martinez. So if you want to go ahead and talk about why you want to be a part of the committee.
Speaker Akbar, thank you for the encouraging words. But I kind of want to reiterate what I said when I spoke to you all just a few weeks ago during my Senate confirmation hearing, that one of the big reasons I'm here is because I want to use my vote and my seat at this table as a way to uplift student voices and stand as a stepstone for advocacy. And I think one of the best opportunities that being on student government gives me is serving on finance committee. The finance committee hears from student groups and student voices all throughout Iowa State, and they come to them with all sorts of ideas and projects that would help them push their voices and their want for advocacy, push it forward. So I think that my time serving the College of Liberal Arts Sciences and the student body that we all represent would be best used sitting on the Finance Committee. Any questions?
Floor is open for any questions or discussion. It's been moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Is there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objection, UC has been called for, but first, closing comments, Speaker Heckbarth. Seeing no closing comments, UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, congratulations, the motion carries. And with that, we'll move into item 2023-2-055 SD, seating a senator to the IDEA Committee with Senator Gopa.
So Director Agarwal chose Senator Momney to sit on his IDEA Committee, and there are vacant seats, and yeah, you can go to this podium. Cool.
Hi, y'all. Happy hump day. If people still say that, I don't know, but I'm going to say it. So last year, whatever the terminology is, I sat on the Health and Wellness Committee. I enjoyed my time very much there, but I decided I wanted to dip my toes in the newly named IDEA Committee. I'm very excited to get started there and get started on the work and the initiatives that are going on there. I have attended all of the meetings so far. It just took a while to get the bill to you all. Other than that, I'm excited to finish the project that I started in health and wellness that was also aimed towards IDEA initiatives, as well as start and finish a few more and help with planning the town hall that is going on. Well, soon to be. Anyways, I'm open to any questions.
Floor is open for any questions or discussion, starting with Senator Pursley.
Can you tell us about the project you've been working on?
So in health and wellness, I started a project that is basically a poster and informational about scholarships and money resources for underrepresented communities. I got a little backtrack last semester, but really all that needs to be do is submitted in a format form and then gotten out to the student body. Right now I am working on an infographic about the renaming of Cat Hall. So that's what I'm doing now. Those are my processing steps.
That's awesome. I yield.
Floor is open for any other discussion on this bill. Moved and seconded to end debate. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing no objection, closing comments, Senator Gopa. No closing comments. We'll move into a vote at this time, but UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations. The motion carries. With that, we'll move into item 2023-2-056 SD, seating a senator to the Sustainability Committee with Speaker Hackbarth.
I can't open up the bill because you are all on it, but that's all right. Go ahead and tell us about why you want to be a part of the committee, Senator Azan, and we will ask any questions.
Yeah, so I just met the director of sustainability, Olivia, and they have like pretty much super cool projects coming up. So I've just decided to join that committee. And it's kind of relevant in a way that the work that I'm doing is also aligned with the sustainability. I'm actually designing a catalyst to get energy from water, which is more sustainable way of getting energy other than fossil fuel. So the project that I'm really excited about is to actually raise awareness, especially in the dorms, working with IRHA to talk about, like how to do recycling on campus and, like making posters and raising awareness. So that's pretty much that I'm thinking of working on. I'm open to questions, so.
The floor is open. Been moved and seconded to end debate. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, closing comments, Speaker Heckbarth. Seeing no closing comments, we'll move into a vote at this time. UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, congratulations, the motion carries. And so with that, we'll see item 2023-2-057 SG, seating at-larges to the Sustainability Committee, again with Speaker Hackbarth.
Before we begin, I move to amend the bill by removing Gianni Gambucci's name from the bill and changing this to singular at-large in all instances.
Been moved and seconded to make that amendment to take off the at-large who is not present. Is there any objection to making that amendment? Seeing no objection, it shall be made. We're now back on the motion as a whole.
All right, beautiful. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about Catherine and why she wants to be a part of sustainability.
All right, so I am very excited about Catherine as an at-large. She has already been serving as the secretary for the past 3 meetings, and her minutes have been amazing. She has been really good at her job so far. I asked her to prepare a statement, and I'm going to read that now. It's from her point of view, so I'm just pretend I'm her. Hello, my name is Kit O'Driscoll from Aurora, Illinois, and I am currently a sophomore in environmental science with minors in biology and GIS. I'm really excited to be working with all of you to create a better environment for our students through the Sustainability Committee. I hope to educate the students of the Iowa State about their impact on the environment, as well as what the campus is doing to give them a more sustainable life here. I also hope to incorporate easier access to and knowledge of sustainable actions that are appealing to students in the hopes of them taking these practices beyond the campus and into their lives at home and in the future. And I took the liberty of asking her Senator Everhart's typical questions. And she said, if I were to describe myself in one word, I'd say it would be listener, because I try to make people feel heard, and I love listening to music and podcasts. And if I could be any animal, I would be a dog or a cat living in a bookstore. And I think we can all agree, same.
With that, the floor is open for any discussion. Someone has, if you withdraw, Senator Azan.
Yeah, I just want to watch for her. She was a student in my class, and she's super, super nice and active. So, yeah, that's pretty much.
Floor is open. Did I hear a call to question? It's been moved and seconded to end debate. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing no objection, closing comments, Speaker Heckbarth? Seeing no closing comments, I believe UC has been called for at least 2 places. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, the motion carries. And so with that, we'll move into the new business items of this evening, starting with item 2023-2-054SR, evaluating ISU intersections and enhancing safety measures with Senator Gopa.
Yeah, it's me again. I cannot get into my own bill. Oops, there's too many people. Give me a minute. What is it? A couple months ago, an individual got hit in front of Seasons intersection, the road between Oak Elm and Seasons intersection. Seasons? I don't know how to describe it. Like, Seasons is here, Oak Elm is there. There's this kind of intersection, and an individual got hit there, and a couple of residents in that area were kind of concerned because they almost got hit by cars over there. And yeah, it's been a major area of concern, and we would like to make a recommendation to like FPNM and the ICPD to put up more safety signage or some kind of other safety PSAs or yeah, and then we decided to make this like a whole university thing, like evaluate other zones of dangerous activity, like where students get hit by cars or are almost hit by cars. So yeah, that's about it. We're making recommendations for that. Any questions?
We're doing this second read or the first read?
This is first read.
Have you spoke with ISUPD to do like an analysis of these points on
Yes.
campus? Perfect.
So ISUPD would be the people that would be looking to see which intersections are the most dangerous?
Is I don't know an option? I don't know.
This is a bill funding student government to go to the Big 12. We do it every year.
It's been moved and seconded to waive first read on this item. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing no objection, first read shall be waived, and we're now back on the motion as a whole.
Yeah, super simple bill. We're basically paying for us to go to TCU. We go to TCU every year. It wasn't in our budget, and so in order to go, we have to pay for it, right? It's not free. So in there, it's the breakdown of plane tickets, the registration costs, the hotel, and then also the transportation as well.
So with that, the floor is open, starting with Vice Speaker Kamstra.
So just for a little bit more information about what this conference is, all of Big 12 schools, student governments will collect together to network, but also to come up with ideas for the Big 12 on the Hill that will come up this coming spring. This is also a big deal for us as a university because next year we will be hosting this event. So we will also be looking very closely as to their planning so that come this spring, when it's our time to start planning it, that's what will happen. So super exciting that we get to host it next year. Super exciting that we get to go, and it's TCU, and it'll be warm. So, yeah.
So with that, the floor is open for any other questions, keeping in mind this is second read. Senator Mahoney?
Did we just forget the budget?
Yeah, again, I wasn't the one that made the budget. All I can do is present a bill in front of everyone and hope to God we can pay for it. So,
Senator Larson?
I was just wondering who's going.
there is 9 of us. I'm going. Hopefully, right? If we make it 3:45 drive down there. So I'm going, Quinn's going, Jennifer's going, Mia's going, Camster's going, Charles, there is Senator Everhart, and then Hackbarth. I think I got everyone. I feel pretty solid about that. Yeah. Oh, Madeline's going too. Yeah.
So if that's Senator Azan?
Yeah, so maybe you can talk about what one thing that is you're super excited about this big conference. Valid, that's valid.
I'm really excited because we'll get to meet Big 12 schools. We'll get to see what they do right and how we can implement that and make what we do for students even more efficient. Like if you look at their website looks out of this world. It's like, how can we bring this to Iowa State? How can we take what schools do well and implement that here? I think that's the biggest reason why we're going. It's the only reason why we should be going. So,
Senator Mahoney?
And I'll just say, I went last year when I was speaker, and we bring back a ton of really cool projects that other student governments are doing, and it's always a really, really important conference that we go to. So, yeah, we definitely should continue to send people to it.
Floor is open for any other discussion. It's been moved and seconded to end debate. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing no objection, closing comments with Senator Cecil. Seeing no closing comments, as this is a finance bill, we will move into a roll call vote. And so when I read your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Martinez. Yes. Gopa. Yes. Azan. Yes. Rolls. Yes. Everhart. Yes. Kamstra. Yes. Kloppenstein. Yes. Hackbarth. Yes. Kuehler. Yes. Atikos. Yes. Swank. Mahoney? Yes. Trotter? Yes. Jones? Yes. Cecil? Yes. Eisma? Yes. Momini? Yes. Larson? Yes. Pursley? Yes. And Schneider? And so with a vote of 20 to 0 to 0, the motion carries. And so having completed our business for tonight, we are open for any general closing announcements. Starting, yes, Director Miller.
One thing I forgot to mention, and I just keep forgetting to mention in the past weeks, next Monday, October 23rd, is Campus Sustainability Celebration event. It is from 10 to 2. It is like outside of like the free speech area-ish by the library. The Sustainability Committee is having a table and lots of other cool places. Like, for example, the Repair Cafe is giving bike tune-ups because they're the best. And I don't think there's any food this year, but you should definitely come and say hi or just come and look at all the cool stuff that will be there. That is all.
Senator Gopa.
So I'm working on a project. So Iowa State has a ton of great resources, but not many people know about all of them. So we're trying to put something on the stugov website. I'm working with Director Patel to put up like a database of all the resources on campus so students can access it. And if you guys would like to help on it, let me know after this Senate meeting.
President Holliday.
Hey guys, sorry I had to step out for a minute, so I had to miss my executive update. I just wanted to jump in and give a couple of things that I don't know if were not shared. So as you all know, we leave for the TCU conference tomorrow morning, Big 12 at TCU. So we are super excited for that, excited to bring back some cool projects for us to work on throughout the remainder of this year. Don't be afraid to reach out if you have any questions about that. You will get a presentation about it when we come back. Probably won't be this upcoming week since we have Joint City Council. So just as a reminder, Joint City Council starts at 5 p.m. in the Sun Room next week. So please be sure to be here for that. But probably the week after that, we'll have a presentation on the Big 12 conference. So you'll get to see a lot of things that we learned about and we're up to while we were there. A rundown for this past week, didn't really have a whole lot of meetings. I had a committee on lectures meeting, which we fund, and we need more representatives from student government to join. So if you are interested in joining that committee, please reach out to myself or Vice President Margaret. We have a few openings. I'm not sure how many off the top of my head, but honestly, she won't cap us because she just wants more students present. And if you have anyone that's not in student government that's interested in joining, also let us know because they're more than welcome to join through us. Aside from committee on lectures, Quinn and I had a meeting with Dr. Younger. Zoom meeting because she was sick from traveling, but it's always great to get to chat with her. Lots of good updates from her and for her. So that's all I have for you tonight, but if you have any questions, just let me know.
Senator Larson.
Okay, so one of my other meetings that I just went to, there was a really good event that was put out. So next weekend, if we want to keep spending time together after the student government retreat, Iowa 4-H is doing a trunk or treat for the community. So student government could get together and we could decorate the back of somebody's vehicle and do a trunk or treat for all the kids in the community. I just wanted to say just because it's coming up. So if anybody's interested in this, let me know and I can give you more information.
Are there any other general closing announcements? Seeing none, I'll share my closing announcements. I'll be brief. I don't have a whole lot this week, but I'll echo the excitement about TCU. We're so excited to connect with other leaders and learn about things we can be doing at our university, and we'll have that wonderful presentation afterwards. I'll echo what ex officio Clark mentioned about the city council agenda for next week. I believe that's now on general and teams. And so if you want to take a look at that forum and think about maybe what we want to talk to the city council about, this is a great opportunity that we have to really connect with the city. We really want to take advantage of it and hear what you all want to talk about. And so lastly, open your laptops for a moment if you don't already have them opened. I'm going to just make sure that everyone knows about this all at once here. If you go into the MIS, there is a StuGov Expo page now. And so that's a new, very exciting event that we're introducing. I'm so excited to have more details about that in the future, but a key part of that, yes, thank you very much. Excuse me. A key part of that is having representatives from all the committees there. And so we're really trying to do some recruiting right now just to make sure that this actually works. And so it's not a long event. You'll get to come, you'll get some food, play some games, and talk to people about your committee or whatever body of student government that you're in. And so I'd really encourage you, take a look at your calendar after this meeting, see when you can go, and really try to sign up for some slots because this is going to be a great event, and we're hoping we can repeat it if it's a success. And so that's all I have as far as my closing announcements, and I'll go over to Vice Speaker Kamstra.
Please. Okay, cool. First of all, sorry about my absence the last 2 weeks. Last week was a rough week for me, but 2 weeks ago I also got to sit in with the CHS Council, and hopefully we'll be another senator here pretty soon. And then some of my other announcements, please fill out the when to meet that I sent you from a Vice Speaker email. This is so that I can figure out a time that best works for all of us to hold a working meeting. Obviously, before Senate does not work well. as I was only able to get 6 people to come today, so that's why I postponed it. Please also, on top of that, review the excusal policy. Excused absences are outlined in that. And again, that's in the Teams. If you go to the general files and then click Senate, there's a ton of resources in there. If you haven't gone there yet, go there now. And it also outlines the entire excusal policy. And then if you're not on a committee yet, you can expect an email from me so that we can talk about that. Hopefully find one for you to be on. And then I sent an inquiry to those who didn't complete office hours or the QR code last week. The QR code has been having some issues. I think we got it all straightened out now between me and Chief of Staff Dre. So it will be updated every Monday by 10 a.m. So if you're going to complete your office hours before that, know that. It will be open until Sunday at 10 p.m. However, office hours should be completed when the Memorial Union is open, so until Friday at 5 p.m. If you, starting this week, if you forget to fill out the QR code, this will count as a half nonfeasance. And then you can explain your case to Rules Committee if it comes to that. But yeah, just know if you do not fill out the QR code, it is on you from now on. So that way I don't have to keep track of pictures of people next to a QR code in my tracking software. So, and then on a fun note, next week we will have the joint city council meeting. For that, please try to wear at least business casual if you can. I personally will be wearing a suit just because it's one of our biggest meetings of the year. Shows that we respect them, respect their time for coming to meet with us at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. 5 p.m. It's 5 p.m., not 6, 5. In the sunroom. So, also during this, please make sure that you are paying attention, being attentive to their time. So avoid homework, emails, texting, playing Clash of Clans, I don't know. And then try to be there early to meet the Ames City Council members. Go meet them. They love to talk with students. They love to hear about why you joined this organization, what you want to get done, what you can see from them as well. So that was some of the best times that I had last year, was getting to talk to them before and after the meeting. And you will not have time after the meeting, so show up early if you can. So, and then lastly, we were going to hopefully do this by this week, but I'm postponing it a week because of TCU and stuff like that. But next week, we will be starting a game of spoons. If you have ever played this before, it is essentially a week-long game of tag. You will get a target, and then you have to go touch them with your spoon, or we might be doing buttons, but there are safe zones in it. There are times where you can and can't tag somebody, so there's a lot of other rules, but if you're interested, we'll be sending out a sign-up to make the spoons for after next meeting. So starting next week, Wednesday, once we adjourn, spoons will start. So, yeah. And I explain the rules, but yeah. So if you're interested in that, look for the email from either the speaker or vice speaker email to sign up. So that's all I have. Thanks for your time.
Okay. Alrighty. So first and foremost, we have been starting to get programs rolling in from various departments here on campus. Really great job paying attention to that today. If for any reason, maybe you walked in late or you had a tardy or an excused absence today, those programs will now be uploaded in the Teams underneath the Senate 2023-24 folder. There is a subfolder in there called Programs. You can find all of them. They will be dated and they will give a brief description about what program it was. Those will also be going forward linked in the agenda if you can never find them. If I could have one designee from each constituency council go through the constituency council contact sheet in the general Teams files, and just verify that the president, vice president, email addresses, all of that is up to date. That is the best way that we can contact your constituency councils in case there might be a vacancy that we need to fill. TCU is tomorrow. I am super excited about heading down there and meeting some of the other student governments. If you have any questions for other student governments, maybe about how they do things, please feel free to send me an email and I will gladly address those concerns or talk about those questions and initiatives with other Big 12 student governments. But on that note, please, 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 please do not send student government related emails to my school email. It will get drowned out in Canvas notifications and ban stuff. So please send those to the student government speaker at iastate.edu. That's stugov.speaker@iastate.edu for anything relating to bills, attendance, or anything about the TCU conference that you're interested in. That is where all Senate related bills, emails, everything should go. That is the most timely way for me to sort through those and answer those emails promptly, or else you do get lost in the sauce. Speaking of bills, bills need to be sent to me, the student government email that I just gave you. They should be sent to that email by Monday night. I will accept up to 10 a.m. on Tuesday, but if you get them to me Monday night, they are guaranteed a space on there. The only exception is Finance Committee, which I wait Tuesday mornings to get. And lastly, but certainly not least, another fun note. In the legislative packet email that I send out using the stugov.speaker@iastate.edu email address, there is now a share a song with the speaker form. Obviously, you know, Finance Director Hirsch can ask me for a Justin Timberlake song and I can completely forget what it is, but if you what? Holy Grail? Okay, I'm gonna write that down. That's gonna be our song of the week next week. But for every song of the week after that, if you would like to put forth a song that you really love and you would like to share with student government, please submit that form and I won't forget about it. And it will be added on. So with that, motion to adjourn. Go Cyclones.
Senate is adjourned.